Hello, my name is Kai, and today I'm going to be talking about what we can expect from the Preston game. But before I get into it, it'd be great if you can like the video, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter. But now, let's get right into it. So, based on the reporting as I'm recording this, we just were informed that Harvey Elliott and Tyler Morton are still on break because they obviously just played in the under 21 Euros, and that Stefan Bajcetic is injured. So because of that, I'm not going to really include them in the squad. I also think that Luis Diaz and Allison both returned pretty late, so I imagine both of these guys won't be involved either. And I also think there's a chance that players like Alexis maybe aren't as involved because, again, I don't really know the situation with some of the South Americans, so he might not start, but I'm going to leave him in this group. Now, because of the amount of left backs we have, I don't think any young left backs are going to get their debut either, so I'm not really going to include people like Owen Beck, Callum Scanlon, or Luke Chambers in any of my calculations. But for the most part, this is the squad that I expect us to see. There's a chance that even Nunez probably isn't included because of the speculation with Napoli. So this is probably the squad. We'll see Florian Wirtz get his debut, Jeremy Frimpong, Kirkes get their debuts. We're going to see, before everything, of course, the tribute for Diogo Jota and Andre Silva, and that'll be incredible. I mean, it's just, I can't linger on it because the world moves on, but damn. But this is the squad that we can expect. Now, I think that if we're not going to have Allison, someone like Pesci might get his debut. I think we might see a lot of rotation. From this game, you shouldn't really expect to see, an insane display of tactics. This is mostly just going to be a kickabout. People are going to run around, kind of trying to achieve fitness. I don't think we're going to really see any tactical brilliance until we're in Asia, but we might see some hints into how we're going to build up and play this season. I think because of this alone, our starting lineup is probably going to be Chiesa as the striker, Salah on the right, Szoboszlai. I think Chiesa will play. I think there's going to be a real chance for him to impress in preseason. I think Kirkes will start, Van Dijk will probably start, Ibu will probably start, Frimpong. Depending on, I don't really know if Joe Gomez is fit. I have no idea. If he isn't, then it probably lends itself to a lot of the young center backs getting a chance anyway. I imagine Amaro Nalo and Welity Lucky to get chances to play in this game. So be able to see how both of them are. I've watched the academy and I watch the academy a lot. Kind of interesting to see Lucky outpace people like Pennington, because no one really would have expected. He's even outpacing Nalo now. Very, very cool to see that happen with some of our players. I do really want to see how comfortable he is in possession because I see Nalo as the much more calm center back, but yeah, I would like to see Lucky play. I don't think we're going to see any of the other right backs, so I don't imagine people like Mabia or like Josh Davidson getting any minutes, but I think we will see some minutes for McConnell in the pivot, some for Nioni maybe in the pivot, some for Lucas Stephenson in the pivot. I think all of these guys will probably get a chance. There's a chance Mac doesn't play at all. Again, I said before, I don't really know the situation with all of the South Americans. But there's also a lot of spaces up here for attackers. I think we'll see Kieran Morrison maybe get some time. Ben Doak might get some time. Rio Angamoa might get some time. There's a chance that Dan's gets some minutes, assuming that he's fit. Lewis Kumas might get some minutes. Trent Kone-Doherty might get some minutes. These are the sorts of players that I expect to see play. Depending on how young we go, we might even see players like Kareem Ahmed, Keyrol Figueroa, or Renell Young play in this game. These are most of the players that I'm expecting to see. Maybe there's even a chance for Cornel Miscure to get some time. There's a lot of players here. I don't know if we're going to see something similar to Klopp where there's like substitutions every 30 minutes. I think we're less likely to see something like that. So a lot of the players I've listed here probably won't play. But these are the sorts of players I expect to be there. This is essentially the group that I expect to be there and potentially play. I mean, Darwin, Diaz, and Allison might be there, but I don't expect them to play. But these are the guys who I think are in contention to play. This is the squad. I think for performances that we're looking for, like players who are, I think the players that we're looking forward to in this game is Florian Wirtz for sure. Obviously, Frimpong and Kirkes, Mamardashvili, the new signings. I'm curious to see Trey Nioni because he's been training by himself. We've been seeing that. James McConnell to see if he can step it up. Amara Nalo and Welty Lucky to see if they're on track to be like the next Jarrell Kwanzaa. That would be interesting. Pesci as well. I'm excited to see if he is scaling, from the Hungarian division, because it's a big step up. Ben Doak, I'd love to see. Maybe he isn't going to be as wasteful in a more calm, possession-based team. Rio as well, now that he signed his new contract. Excited. Kieran Morrison, I want to see if maybe he can impress so that he doesn't, try to push for a move away from the club, because there were links to Wolves. Chiesa in the striker role will be interesting if Slot does go with it, because Chiesa is an example of a player who could kind of do the Dembele role that PSG has, could hint to Slot moving further towards that. Kumas or Danz as well as potential players for the striker position. I'd love to see Danz. And these three are kind of just wild card options. We've seen Renell Young in, I think, 1 or 2 matchday squads this season. As an American, I'm a big fan of Keiro Figueroa. I think he's a really good player, and I've seen a lot of Kareem Ahmed in the academy, and I really like him. So I would also maybe like to see him in and around the squad. Now, if we want to talk about build-up and tactics, I don't imagine we see a lot of tactics in this game, because when you think about it, this is like the first game back. If Slot's trying to make massive changes, we shouldn't expect him to try them all at once. I do think in this match, we're going to really see how Slot wants to line up the team a little bit, right? We're going to get a couple of questions answered right away. We're going to see immediately if Wirtz is going to be on the left wing, or if Slot actually does view him here, and maybe we see Szoboszlai here or out of the team in place of maybe Cody Gakpo starting on the left instead. That's a possibility, maybe. And if this happens, I'd love to see what Slot's ideas for defending are. Maybe Kirkes doesn't go as far forward. Maybe the pivot is much more defensive. It'd be interesting to see. Maybe Wirtz is more involved with direct build-up, with Gravenberch here. Maybe we do see scenarios where Wirtz is here, where Salah drops in more and isn't the hold-up player. We could see things like that. We are going to definitely learn, in my opinion, how he intends for the 6 to build up, and if it is going to be a repeat of this system with the ball going to the DM who splits the defense, or if we are going to see a connected pivot, more of a box build up here. I think we're definitely going to learn that in this game, is what the build up strategy is. And for the most part, that's all you can expect, is just learning what the role of Florian Wirtz is and what the build-up shape is going to look like. To some extent, you might learn the pressing shape to see if it's any different, but I don't imagine you see the full extent of our press. I think all you're going to see is if we're sticking with the 4-2-4, which you would expect us to do against weaker opposition like Preston, or if maybe we're going to switch to a 4-4-2 or a more Bronkhorstian style system of like just these situational pressing scenarios where the players can kind of get jumbled up and kind of press right onto the ball. We'll see things like that, I think. But we're not going to see like beautiful, brilliant Slot style link up play. I don't really expect anything close to that. But that's mostly what I'm looking for in this game. For these types of preseason games, you can't expect to really get to know what's fully going to happen. You're going to see some academy players, but don't expect this to be reflective of how we're actually going to play next season. You'll see ideas, but you won't really see the full picture. But I'm still excited for it, and I will have a post-match reaction immediately after the game, and then the day after I'm going to do a full analysis. And for the rest of the week, I plan on having a video on how we could play like PSG, another in-depth video on the academy, and maybe a couple of more interesting little pieces of analysis. But anyway, that is it for me, this video. Remember to like the video, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and as always, thanks for watching.